According to the CDC, Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death among all adults and fifth leading death for those that are 65 years and older. An estimated 51 million people are affected with the irreversible brain disease. Alzheimer's has a big impact on people's lives, and especially those who are caregivers. Here now to tell us more about the Alzheimer's Caregiver Conference, we welcome now the President and CEO of R.A.I.N Total Care Incorporated, Dr. Anderson Torres, and Program Directors Ana Rodriguez and Julio D. Gonzalez. We welcome you all to the show, and thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good to have you. Dr. Anderson, let's talk first and foremost as we talk about Alzheimer's, a big problem across the nation. Talk to us about the effect that it's having in the Bronx and the work that you guys are doing.
Sure. Just to recap, R.A.I.N is a 53-year-old not-for-profit organization serving primarily the Bronx, individuals that are seniors and people with disabilities. We've been seeing an increase of Alzheimer's diagnosed clients and patients on service, which is pretty sad. So when you look at the risk factors for the disease, the African American community and the Latino community are at twice or 1.5% higher than whites with the diagnosis. So when you look at hypertension, when you look at cardiac disease, diabetes, and obesity, those factors put the individual at a higher risk for getting the disease. And with Alzheimer's, you have an impairment in memory and overall functioning. I also want to point out that the youngest case in the United States diagnosed with the disease was a 29-year-old male.
Wow.
So, you know, it's not just an older person's disease, but as the individual gets older, you have all these risk factors that play a role in the disease process.
And so, Dr. Gonzalez, a conference is happening here. Going to give us the opportunity to really address some of these things?
Yes, the conference is in the Lincoln Hospital. Next Tuesday, May 2nd, we start the registration at 8:30 to all day we're there for the conference.
And so when people come to take part in this conference, what can they expect to have take place?
They will be able to get resources and tools on how to help the caregiver with their turmoil and their burden. We're going to be able to show more or less and educate people about the process of Alzheimer. And individuals will also be able to have information about the support groups that we hold for the caregivers.
Because when you talk about Alzheimer's, the patient is definitely the primary, but there's a lot of weight and there's a lot of burden that really falls on the lives of those who are caregivers.
You know, it's interesting. When you look at the disease, every 66 seconds, someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's or related dementia in the United States. And that's a big number. I've been a caregiver. I've had Alzheimer's personally in my family, and I see the impact that it has on the caregiver. You're seeing more and more caregiver stress, caregiver burnout. You hear a lot of those conditions and increased anxiety and depression. This conference involves several partners. So it's hosted by Lincoln Hospital, and we have several panelists from, you know, Hunter School of Social Work to Montefiore Hospital, providing education on the disease, because there are a lot of caregivers that still do not understand what are the signs and the symptoms to be able to manage accordingly, and the proper referral and diagnoses. A lot of people say, oh, that's just, you know, an older person's disease, or that's just a symptom related to this, but it needs formalized testing and assessment. So we hope to educate the community at that conference and beyond. And this is all made possible because of a grant that R.A.I.N received through the New York State Department of Health, looking at underserved communities and making an impact as it relates to Alzheimer's and related dementias.
As people from the Bronx come and those across the city have an opportunity to come and share, what is the hope that you want people to take away at the end of this conference?
Our expectation is that people receiving the support and help our community to handle for this situation in our family. Also, I am the caregiver too. My wife uncle have Alzheimer, and we are a caregiver, and for us it's very stressful. I want these tools, you know. I hopefully have this tool to deal for this situation, and now we understand our community need to deal about this the disease to affect our family, our community, and also in the Bronx specific too.
And you're calling on people to come out, huh?
I am calling on people to come out. The conference is May 2nd at Lincoln Hospital. We start registration at 8:30. We'll be there till 2:30, and at 1 o'clock we break out for different groups and workshops. And I think it's an opportunity for an educational awareness, and it's free, so we hope to see you all, and we want to let all those caregivers know that you are not alone.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
And what we're doing different as well is that we are actually doing a whole intergenerational approach to this conference. We've already partnered with Millennium High School here in the Bronx. They're sending 60 of their youth. And when I went to their classroom and I talked about the disease, I had a 15-year-old who talked about her 49-year-old aunt with Alzheimer's and the impact that it had on her. In the conference, we're going to start the conference actually with testimonials. So I'm hoping to have someone from the youth range, middle age, and older adult. We changed the name of the conference to A Promise Made because of an interview that I had with a fellow who's 73 years old. His wife is 10 years older, and at one point she started seeing the differences in her cognitive functioning. And as she saw the deterioration, she told him, you know what, you're younger, you can go out and leave me and start another life. And he says, I made a promise to you until the very end. And she has full-blown, severe stage Alzheimer's at this point, and he's sticking by her. He's one of the individuals that's going to come out and provide a testimonial after 50 years of marriage.
And it's got to be special for you guys, as you said, because both of you, in addition to doing this, you also have been caregivers.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. We have a support group also. We have the program, I have a support group for the caregivers too. And it's funded by the New York State Department of Health. And this program is to help our community. Also, we have the support group in English and Spanish, and also telephonic support group.
So that's important because, going back years prior when we were going through this journey, along with the Latino Alzheimer's Coalition of New York, founded over 20 years ago, there weren't all these resources available, and it was just going through day by day and trying to make sense of something that did not make sense. So the fact that we are in a position to be able to outreach, educate, advocate, and link up individuals to needed services, that's a tremendous impact. We've been creative enough because there are some people that literally cannot leave their home because they're the only caregiver.
Right.
And so we have now executed the telechat program. And there are some caregivers that will go to the bathroom, call in. We do guided imagery, stress management, and information regarding the disease, and that makes an impact. That's, in a way, a link to reality in a very difficult situation.
Yeah, giving people the resources to have the help, during a time like this, because I think you said it most, that sometimes people feel like they're all alone.
Yes.
And when you feel like you're all alone, obviously you go and you sink into your feelings as well as some other things, and for the caregivers to have that opportunity to have an open line to do that. So once again, let's get the information before we wrap out one more time. I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. The conference is Tuesday, May 2nd at Lincoln Hospital. We start registration at 8:30 a.m. and we will be there until 2:30 p.m. We invite you all, and again, we say to all those caregivers and all those individuals who are looking to learn more about this disease to please come and join us. You are not alone.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Anna,
much.
Julio,
Thank you for your
Dr.
time.
Torres, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. And of course, hopefully we'll bring you back and you can share about how the conference worked.
Yes, and you're okay as long as you remember you forgot.
That's that's important to know. All righty. Listen, stay tuned. We got more open coming up right after this. We'll be right back.